Did you know that the age-old battle between conventional trucks and cab-over trucks goes much deeper than just external differences on the road? In fact, both trucks are very different from each other and have got their own specific characteristics. But which truck is actually the best? History of the cab-over trucks. Cab-over trucks, also known as flat-nose trucks, are those that look like a mixture of a van and a truck that's got a vertical front, or you could say a flat face. This was introduced into the American market for the very first time in 1899 by Autocar using a format that they called engine under the seat. These were initially designed to maximize cargo loads and still come under the individual U.S. state length regulations. This was a success and was seen as a practical solution for expanding the payload space. If we compare the older designs to the more recent designs, the older trucks had poor aerodynamics because of their flat shape, but over the years that's improved a lot too. History of the conventional truck. The very first conventional truck or long-nose truck first came into the market in 1898 thanks to Scottish inventive genius Alexander Winton. Now if we fast forward to the 70s, some regulations have changed. These regulations were about how long the trailer of the truck could be, not the whole truck. This change gave truck makers the idea to go ahead and embrace the larger long-nose cabs. In a conventional truck, the cab's placed away from the engine, which is inside the nose of the truck, safely secured under the hood. This acts more like a buffer between the traffic and obstacles ahead and the driver. This design is completely different from the cab-over design. When we talk about cab-over trucks, the cab's directly above the engine and the front axle. This design helps in increasing the cargo space as much as possible and makes it easier to maneuver in those tight spaces. This also enhances visibility. When it comes to visibility and how well you can see the road ahead, the cab-over trucks have a huge advantage compared to the conventional truck design. Because the seat of the driver is really close to the front of the truck, the driver gets an unobstructed view of the road ahead of him. Now, this makes it a lot safer and gives the driver a better view of the obstacles down the road, like pedestrians, bicyclists, and smaller vehicles, because the driver's got a clearer line of sight, and not to mention that big old nose, it's out of the way. Another plus is it makes it a lot easier for drivers to gauge distances. This is super important when parking and maneuvering in those tight spaces, allowing the driver to see the entire length of the truck more clearly, which makes backing up and parking a lot easier. A cab-over truck is famous for its superior maneuverability, which is mostly credited to its tighter turning radius. You see, the front wheel's a lot closer to the front bumper, which lets the truck make way sharper turns compared to a conventional truck. This is a huge plus and makes these kinds of trucks a favorite of those who have to navigate through those narrow streets and tight corners in the cities. The conventional truck, however, has its own advantages when on the road, and one of them is its stability. These are way more balanced because of the weight distribution between the front and rear axles, which is better than the cab-over trucks that have more weight on the front axle, which can affect their handling. The conventional truck also has a longer wheelbase compared to the cab-over trucks. While these cab-over trucks are better at corners at lower speeds, conventional trucks are much more stable on highways. Truck drivers have to drive these trucks for hours at a time. What we want to know is, which truck offers better comfort? A cab-over truck has an engine under the cabin, which always has mechanical parts moving around all the time, and that means more vibration and noise. In a conventional truck, the engine's not only away from the driver, but it's got other insulating materials that guarantee a smoother ride. Now, not only is the ride smoother, but it also reduces the noise coming in from the engine so that the cabin's quieter. This lack of vibration and sound makes the driver much more comfortable, reduces fatigue, and increases focus. Not only are they quieter, but they've also got more room, which means more space for truck drivers to sleep in and more storage space. Now, the cab-over truck, on the other hand, has a narrower cab compared to conventional trucks. This gives the driver very little space to move around. Now, let's turn our attention to a critical aspect that can't be missed, and that is maintenance. When we talk about maintenance, the conventional truck takes the lead here, because it's a lot easier to inspect and check for any kind of leakage of oils or anything minor. The mechanics and truck owners just have to pop the hood open to access these areas for routine oil changes, minimizing downtime so that they can get back on the road quicker. Now, because these trucks are easier to maintain, the labor cost is also less, which is a nice thing to have. Not only will the repairs be faster, but if you really know your truck and have the experience, then you can even maintain it yourself instead of having to go to a service location to get stuff done. If we compare that with the Cabover truck, then the Cabover's a bit of a hassle because of the engine placement. It's a lot harder to get the engine and change oils. Replacing filters or even checking for wear and tear on the belts becomes a lot harder. Now, sometimes when the engine or the transmission's involved, maintenance becomes expensive because this means the whole cab has to be disassembled, which means more downtime and more labor. But what about the aerodynamics? A conventional truck is slightly more aerodynamic than Cabover trucks because of their design. The Cabover design has a huge flat face that increases air resistance. Another thing to note is that conventional trucks are shorter in height because they don't have an entire engine right under the cab, so that plays a role in reducing drag too. The nose of the conventional truck's not only there to help increase the aerodynamics, but it's also got a safety advantage. This nose also works like a huge safety zone to protect the driver if the truck crashes. A Cabover, however, will need more power because of the air resistance due to its design and isn't that fuel efficient either. In the end, the choice between a Cabover truck and a conventional truck ultimately depends on specific needs and preferences. Cabover trucks excel in visibility, maneuverability, and tight spaces, making them ideal for city driving. Conventional trucks offer stability on highways and greater comfort due to reduced noise and vibrations. Maintenance is easier for conventional trucks, while Cabover trucks may require more intricate servicing. Additionally, conventional trucks tend to have better aerodynamics and a safety advantage with their front nose. Ultimately, the best truck is a bit subjective and depends on the individual driver's requirements and priorities. So, which truck do you think best suits you? Let us know what you think in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed today's video, then make sure to leave us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon to always be updated with the most exciting content as soon as it's uploaded. Thanks for watching, everybody, and for all my drivers out there on the road, thanks for the ride along, big buddy. We'll catch you all in our next video.